How do you feel about Kamala being Biden's VP pick? I think it's a smart choice. I don't like the idea that a prosecutor like Kamala Harris is a serious contender for a presidential or vice presidential position. I have mixed feelings on her, but I think that's kind of the point. It's hard to be the attorney general of a state and not come out with a little turd on you. So, but I think that the sanitization of her prosecutorial record is a serious problem. Overall, it's just like, given the choices, obviously, I think that it's a smart choice. And it's probably really the only choice Biden could have made, the only safe choice Biden could have made. Everything else would have been really risky. Warren would have been an awkward conversation after leaning so hard into picking a woman of color. The same with Tammy Baldwin. I think Baldwin and Warren were my favorites. Those were like my, kind of, I was hoping he would pick them, but after the heavy amount of signaling that he was going to pick a woman of color, it would have been a little bit too awkward to try and ease that in with the electorate. And when it comes to like actual women of color to pick, like, I would have loved to see Nina Turner on that ticket, but I don't think anybody to my right would have cared for that. So it's like, women of color, they don't piss too many people off, that present strongly. Like, Barbara Lee, unfortunately, is too old. Barbara Lee would have been my top choice, I think, among women of color. But she's too old to be Biden's VP, because that's actually a huge consideration, is that he does need somebody who can present as both young and healthy enough to lead if need be, but also presents presents in a very qualified way. Who has the temperament and charisma and ability to, I guess, cope with the stresses of the office. Who isn't too young for the position, but also not too old to be a reliable 25th Amendment-y to Biden, I guess. So, I don't know. I think it's a good pick. Politically. Morally, I just really dislike. I think that if you're gonna make the decision that you're gonna spend your life being a prosecutor trying to change the system from the inside, you're kind of committing to the fact that you're going to have to make really, really, really bad and cruel decisions. And if that's the position that you want to take, then you should take it. I don't think that you should then. It bothers me that people think that they can occupy a position in which you're going to do a lot of harm to a lot of marginalized people and then purport to be the figurehead of a movement. That really bothers me. I think it sanitizes a lot of bad things. And that's the main thing that bothers me about, like, the concept of Kamala Harris being a front runner for the nomination in 2024. That really, really bothers me. I feel that way about her too, morally speaking. Yeah, it's... Oh, no special ability yet. Yeah. No, listen, like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that, like, I'm not gonna pretend that she's the devil. I mean, there's a saying in left circles that, like, basically, you know how they say a cab. There's another saying that all prosecutors are bastards, and like, the truth is, like, it's kind of true. Um, so one problem that we have is that our conversations about criminal justice reform were always centered around policing, when the truth is that prosecutors are a much bigger slice of the problem. Obviously, extrajudicial executions of black men and black people in general are a serious problem by the cops. But then there's a much larger prison industrial complex and felony industrial complex as well. Or it's not carceral state. It's the subjugation of black bodies even outside of the prison system using criminal justice, using things like felony convictions is a huge problem. And to be totally real, prosecutors are a bigger problem to criminal justice reform than cops are, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen. So the idea that all prosecutors are bad, all prosecutors are bastards, right? Like, there's a bit of merit to it. And that's not to say that, like, obviously that's not to say there isn't value in someone choosing to pursue the profession and deciding, I am going to be the person who has to make difficult decisions, but ultimately I know that my presence in the system is going to make the system better. I think that is an admirable and what should be a self-sacrificial decision. That you are opting to sacrifice, you're making a personal sacrifice of your own I think that is in some ways a noble and what should be a self-sacrificial decision. That you are opting to make some decisions that are morally abhorrent that somebody who would have been there in your place would have done anyway, in order to make other decisions that are different than somebody protecting the status quo would do. And you are also going to some extent, protect the status quo, right? Like, and I think there's value in being that person, but not in putting that person at the figurehead of a progressive movement, right? Like, that, those are two very different things. And we desperately need to select somebody to become the figurehead of the progressive movement in America and start campaigning immediately. Immediately. Because, if Kamala Harris runs away with the Democratic nomination in 2024, like, I think she can probably beat the Republican, but it's going to be really, really, really bad for progressivism generally. I'm not a big fan of her, but politically speaking, I totally get why Biden chose her. Yeah, totally. I don't know that he could have chosen anyone else. If he's really committed to locking up this election, I don't know that he could have chosen anyone else. I don't think that we could have pressured him to choose anyone else. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. I've got new videos coming out regularly. We're going to be talking about all sorts of important stuff, the far right, global politics, healthcare, the election, and a lot more. Tune in and check out the live stream. I stream live to Twitch every weekday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So come join the discussion live. Otherwise, stay tuned for new videos. Have a good day.